broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzzers. We're here during another AfterBuzz TV after show for MTV's Teen Wolf Season 5, Episode 10, Status Asthmaticus. I'm your host, Kristen Elizabeth Snyder. My friends know me as the Desert Wolf.
Oh my gosh, you're crazy.
Courtney Tezeno.
Hello, everyone. I'm so sorry I've been gone the past 2 weeks. Very important things. But keep in touch with me at Teznos on Twitter and Instagram, and use that hashtag ABTVTeenWolf.
From MTV's Are You the One and the Challenge, Brittany Baldassari.
Hey guys, what's up? Sorry, I'm actually trying to tweet out right now to watch us live, so make sure you guys do that. Teen Wolf finale, woo!
Ow! And our special guest this evening is Dino Meneghin. He's the composer on Teen Wolfing, making all those scenes very epic for us. Thank you so much for being here, Dino.
Thank you for having me.
Epic.
Yeah, seriously, I mean, I think the composition in Teen Wolf, it is so cinematic.
Yeah.
And we love when you come in.
Escape.
I mean, that's my screen name. They love that. Where can the fans tweet at you, Dino?
My Twitter handle is at DM_LA.
Yes.
DM_.
I know I am following, so you guys at home, make sure you follow Dino and ask him all your questions as far as
it's
music
mostly
goes.
pictures of my dog. But you can also do that, yeah.
So tell us what it's like composing for the show, because I know tonight you said, when I was composing for this scene, it was a green screen. So how do you do that? So, I mean, these shots, a lot of times, because they're action, because they're supernatural, they are shot on green screen. So how do you go about composing the music for a scene that you don't see yet?
Well, well, first of all, I mean, it's... when we have a spotting session, which is where Jeff Davis and usually one of the other producers and the editors will sit in the room and watch the episode, and when we're watching that on the screen, it'll say some brief description of what's going to be there.
Oh, nice.
And then we'll say they'll say to us, this is what's going to be there. And sometimes when we'll submit our first drafts of the cues, and sometimes for those kind of things we'll get a note back and say, hey, we changed this, or you don't know this, but this is going to be a giant monster, so you need to make it sound like
awesome.
So.
Amp it up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, do they give you hey, we want it to kind of sound like Batman Begins, or do they?
We try to stay away from that because I think the show has its own sound now.
Definitely.
I think we've found that. Sometimes they'll reference we have a lot of thematic elements now in the show. Scott has 2 hero themes, and there's a lot of the Dread Doctors have a theme, and there's all the important characters or important elements kind of have their own theme. So most of the time, if it's a big moment, we're building on a theme.
That is so cool.
Really cool.
I need to pay more attention to that because I didn't realize that each character had their own sort of soundtrack, and then depending on what they're doing, you build on that.
Well, like Parish, he has his theme every time he goes into his special mode.
Like I definitely hear it, and it's contributing to the scene, but I just
and the emotions, yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just didn't put together that they each had their own different ones. So that is so cool to know. It's like you're shaping the superhero that we're seeing on screen.
It works a little bit, subliminally. Just you kind of know.
Well,
But,
you know, and we have no clue how to do that. Now, I was talking to you earlier, and I don't know about you guys at home, but I am always scared when I watch TV or movies that have these scary sounds. Now, I want to know, when you were growing up, was there something that you saw that sparked your interest to do this, or how did you get into this?
Good question.
You mean horror specifically?
Horror, yes.
No,
I'm terrified.
I wasn't allowed to watch scary movies. My parents would only let us watch, when we were little, we could only watch like PBS. Like 1 hour of TV a day.
Are you serious?
Oh, I'm 100% serious.
Well, that's what it was. It sparked you to be a rebel.
Teen Wolf got me into horror. When I started doing it, I hadn't really done a lot of horror. And one of the editors, who's also written on the show,
Alyssa
Clark, yeah, she actually gave me a list of a whole bunch of horror movies to watch.
Oh, wow.
So
you
I'm
had to play
probably
catch
blowing
up.
my cover because I would every time somebody would reference a movie, I'd go, "Oh yeah," and then I'd go home and watch it.
That's so funny.
So,
Alyssa
yeah.
Clark. I love Alyssa.
Yeah,
She
I do
edited
too.
tonight's episode, actually.
Yes.
She did an amazing job. I'm sure
yeah.
you guys had to work closely together doing that.
Yeah, we always do. I mean, I've worked with Alyssa. She was one of the first people that I met on the show when I first started on the show, and so we're friends outside of work, and I like working with her a lot. And we work a lot together we'll talk a lot about the music.
That's awesome. We got to tweet out that list because I want to watch those movies.
Definitely.
So
Like
let's go ahead and get into the episode. So much happened. And it was so crazy to see Theo's plan finally revealed. I mean, so
Yeah.
it was sort of like we had expected. He wanted Liam to get so upset that he would kill Scott so that he could take Scott's alpha power, which thankfully didn't happen.
I thought he was gonna die. I'm like,
I thought he was dead, which would have been a terrible end. How could we go into another
come
season
on.
without Scott?
You're not gonna kill Scott.
Of
You can't kill
course.
Scott.
I was just wondering how she possibly
Everybody
going to do
loves
this.
Scott.
Yeah.
And Theo's too good looking to trust.
Oh, we knew that from day
as soon
one.
as you saw him, you're like, my God.
Not trusting this guy.
It's like his hair is too perfect.
Right.
No, it is.
It is.
Everything about him is like
Yeah, he's like he was like made in a lab to be beautiful.
he was
probably
apparently
was.
the first chimera, so he's
Yeah.
not human. So I'm kind of confused about that. Maybe you know something we don't, Dino. So it's like he reveals that he is
half wolf, half coyote.
coyote
Liam?
and chimera.
Chimera.
But he says he was the first chimera. So it's like, was he an experiment
Yeah,
of
it
the
sounds like he was the
doctors?
first experiment.
He was
that
the
might
first
have been
experiment.
A success.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
He's also 1/3 Dachshund, and I think he's like a quarter German Shepherd.
No way.
That would explain him in this shape.
They did one of those whole genealogy tests on him, and it comes back, and
Oh, that's hilarious. My thing that I like hated the most about this episode is that he like kidnapped Stilinski.
What does he have with him?
Sheriff Stilinski.
Yeah.
I
he's
don't
leverage
know.
with Stiles.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, obviously Theo wanted to get everyone away from Scott so that Scott had no pact, so that he was vulnerable. He also gave him Wolf's Bane to make him weaker. It was the super moon. He knew that he could use
He's
Liam's
basically
anger.
been planning since day one.
Yeah, and with the whole mountain ash, he put Scott in this terrible situation. But thankfully, Scott had Mason, who was not
Yes.
supernatural, who could come in.
And save the day.
Yeah, I mean, he really did save him from Liam. What did you guys think about the whole Liam versus Scott fight?
I thought it was really intense.
Yeah, I thought it was intense. I was scared that he was actually going to hurt him. I didn't think he was actually going to kill him at any point, to be honest. Just because I think, even though Scott had the wolf's bane and all of that, I just couldn't see Liam taking out Scott. Like, that would just be the wrong way for it to
One of my favorite
happen.
lines was when he said, "We can't all be perfect. We can't be true alphas." I was like,
Well, I was just shocked. I really feel like Scott didn't want to obviously hurt Liam, so he was definitely holding back.
Scott never wants to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
It frustrates me because sometimes people need to be hurt.
I know.
I agree.
Liam needed a good
backhand for sure.
Yeah, but he just doesn't
Need his
want to do
chill
it.
pulls.
He's a true alpha. I'm not a true alpha. I'm nowhere close to that. I'm not even a fake alpha.
I don't know. When you turn like this, I see a glimmer of red in your eyes.
It's really.
I don't know. I mean, you might be the real true alpha sitting right
That
here
would be,
in this
that would
room
be
with
such
us.
a waste because all I do every day is sit in front of a computer screen and swear at it while I'm writing music. That would be the worst waste of a true alpha. I've never saved anyone's life. I've never like stopped a speeding car. I've never done anything. All I do is sit in front of a computer and swear at it.
But you create the music that, inspires people to do those things. So really, you are the savior behind it.
I'm like true alpha adjacent.
Yeah, I can see that, because if it was silent, it would be very boring.
It would be.
That's true.
If you guys at home have a question for Dino, go ahead and give us a call at 424-256-1729. And please continue to support us on YouTube and iTunes and SoundCloud. Download, rate, subscribe. We really appreciate all the support. You guys are awesome. And if you just have a general question, you want to, trick us with some trivia, go for it. Give us a call.
Yes.
And I would say tweet at us. Ryan might be in the chat, so you could always go to the chat, the live chat at YouTube.
Is Ryan going to call in, I wonder?
I think Ryan might call in. I certainly hope so. So let's go ahead and talk about Parish. So this has led me to believe now that he is the hellhound, the bearer of death and the protector of the supernatural. With those, now was that bright red also eyes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were like fire red.
Yeah.
So they were different from the alpha. But so this hellhound, he's not the phoenix, which is huge because everyone's been speculating for so long what he was, and I never have I ever heard hellhound mentioned. So I think I
love how they set up the storyline.
Yeah, Jeff and the writers definitely kept that all from us. So do you guys understand that storyline that Kira was talking about, where
Lydia? Lydia
Kira
to Kira.
told-
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, can you explain that all? So it's like, is he involved in that, Parish, as the hellhound? Like, what is part of him is in that myth, talking about like the ghost riders coming? Like, I didn't know if that was part of the supermoon. I guess it wasn't. But
You're talking about
Okay, so he was one of the dogs in particular that they talked about in the myth.
Oh yeah.
Very confusing story. All I realized is that he was the hellhound.
yeah,
What you said, he's partly part of his job is protector of the supernatural realm. He's sort of the deputy in real life, and he's also kind of the deputy of the supernatural realm.
I like that.
Hey, Kristen?
Yes.
Not
I have a
truly
fan
bad.
question really quick. Not technically a fan question. Dino, do you drive a red convertible?
No.
Okay, just double checking because there's one outside filling with water.
What?
Sprinklers.
Oh my goodness.
I was like, is there some Teen Wolf Supernatural coming to
No.
AFTERBUZZ?
Either way, that sucks.
It's
Well,
really
sorry
bad.
about your red convertible. Oh, man. So, yeah, I mean, maybe it's Parish's red convertible. I wouldn't be surprised. It's like when he goes in these dream states, he has, like, no idea what's going on.
Oh yeah.
But I liked that little connection he had with Lydia.
Does
right?
he even
It's very
realize that
sweet.
he's a hellhound at this point? That's what I
No,
was
he
trying to
doesn't
figure
know.
out.
He doesn't know what he
He
wants.
still doesn't know.
Yeah, him and Lydia were trying to figure that out because he was talking to Lydia about how, have you been scared, or were you scared before you knew what you were? Did it make you less scared once you found out?
Yeah, and he's like, how do you feel now that you know? And she's like, it's kind of the same. Yeah, so it's like, I'm excited. Obviously, he has more powers than what we're seeing than just collecting the dead, but it's cool that they were sort of relating to on that level how, like, they both have this power that deals with the dead. Like, she finds them and he collects them. They're
Isn't
going to
that a
be
great marriage?
together.
This would be a great team, yeah. I could see them like making little business cards for that, and
Yeah, for sure. So let's go ahead into Lydia. I mean, I don't know where Theo, he took her to where the Dread Doctor's, like, lair is. And what I want to know about is, like, that serum that he, like, pumps out of that other...
Out of the tank.
out of that creature in the tank. Like, what is that? Is that just, like... I know they were taking a lot from the different creatures. Like, they were taking stuff from Hayden. They were taking stuff from pretty much everyone. You know, and
You know, at the end when they show that painting, maybe are the creatures what we saw at the end? Because it looked like two beasts fighting. I know we said that the phrase that they used was what was it?
Labette.
Labette. At the end when
the
they showed,
beast, Dino told us, means the beast.
means the beast. So maybe there's a connection there that we'll see in the next season or the next half of the season. I don't know.
Yeah, obviously there's a lot left for 5B to be explained. I mean, now that it seems like Theo's gonna have his pack, but the fact that he resurrected all those people around the Nemeton with this serum that came from that creature, I'm just like, what is this creature and what is this serum that can literally resurrect the dead? I mean, how did you guys feel about that whole scene?
I think it's Botox.
Oh man.
I mean, really, they were all shriveled up, and then suddenly they were just like, hello.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in that stuff, but it's like their little backup plan or something. Like when the lights go out, you always have like a backup system. That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't get. I don't know how the doctors are gonna feel about Theo taking that
From the Nematon, yeah.
I mean, I don't
Isn't
know.
it supposed to be feeding, like putting things back into the earth, like making the balance go back?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was assuming, but I mean, now he is actually resurrecting the dead, Theo is, which I have a feeling Liam's gonna be okay with. What do
But
you guys
Hayden
think?
wasn't a part of the resurrection.
Not yet.
I definitely could see that as a prediction.
But it's like, yeah, now that we have this serum that resurrects people, I mean, are you not gonna use this when you lose someone in the pack? And then, I mean, this means anyone could be extinct and then come back, depending on, you know, the side effects of this serum. Because
Yeah, I
different
think you
side
have to have
effects.
been made by it for you to.
You guys
be
think we'll see
affected.
that in future episodes as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like this special elixir. You gotta explain that. I mean, we've seen it being, like, added to all season, so it's definitely, like, this mixture that they've been perfecting over time.
Maybe Donovan will come back.
I
Donovan-
know, that would be crazy because
Now you can start bringing back
Stiles-
old characters.
Nice.
Do you know, is there anyone you want to come back?
Who do I want to come? I'm trying to think. I gotta think of our list of our cherished dead.
I have one that I would want to.
Who?
The love affair with Scott and
Allison? You want to bring back Allison?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm like blushing about it. I miss Allison.
Yeah, that was very sweet.
Yeah, I don't know if the serum's gonna work on her. She's been gone for a while.
know.
There might be an expiration date.
There
Like
might be.
a decaying
Yeah.
period that it won't work anymore. I don't know, but it's like now Theo has this pack, but I liked what he was getting into when he had his fight with Stiles. What did you guys think about that? Theo's fight with Stiles. I
It
mean,
was when he was doing kind of his Emperor Palpatine, you know, like
Yeah.
give in to your anger.
Yeah, he
thing
was
with
like,
Stiles.
channel it.
Yeah.
Like, I think he just likes to see that he's affecting someone. He's like one of those bullies that, even though he's being hit, he's getting like some type of happiness from it. He's so strange.
yeah, I mean, there are those people who just want to get you mad, and they'll press every button they know that'll work on you to get you that angry. But it's like, I wasn't sure what they were really saying. Like, is the blood from the Nogitsune Void Stiles, like, affecting him? Definitely still in there. I mean, we saw the Wendigo bite on him last episode, definitely sort of flaring up, but not developing. So it's like, the fact that he was this Void Stiles, it makes sense that it never went away. And I could definitely tell this whole season he was a little bit angrier than in the past.
All right, well, we have a caller on the line. Hello, caller. What's your name and where are you from?
Hey, this is Eric. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi, Eric. Do you have a question for our guest?
I did. So I have two of them.
Go for it.
I hope you guys don't mind.
Of course not.
I've got one pertaining to the Nematon, and I was just wondering if the Nematon was still kind of in control, not in control, but just like in the minds of Scott and Stiles, like if it's still feeding off of their energy.
What do you think, Dino?
Well, that's kind of what you were just saying, is talking about, you know, basically once they opened the Nematon, they opened up this supernatural beacon to, you know, to bringing all these, this is why all these other creatures are coming to Beacon Hills. So it's still definitely affecting them. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm that, yes.
Yeah. And what was your other
So in a
question?
sense, it's still connected to them. But I guess the real question is, so if Allison died, would it still kind of, you know, be attached to her soul? Like, could it still possibly be like her soul is connected to it, and she's still, in a sense, suffering from its connection with the Nematon?
Wow.
I certainly
That's like Teen Wolf math.
That
Like,
is
I don't know. I mean, we're getting into like the afterlife here, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Because
I
we
don't
want
know.
her back. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question, Eric, because I know, like everybody else, they're wondering, are we ever going to get Allison back?
No, Eric's not asking that. Eric's asking if she's
If she's in pain.
She's
purgatory.
being affected by it.
Eric, you want to know if she's. Eric, can you hear Allison right now?
Well,
I'm getting a message from Allison. Wait, Eric.
Allison. So Allison is just one of my favorite characters. So it's just
She's
like,
pretty great.
I don't know. I feel like if there was a possibility that she could come back, that maybe not even like completely. Maybe it's just like something for the fans to kind of get that that feeling of, okay,
That
you know,
final
her soul is at
closure.
rest.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Like, in my opinion, like, I feel like Lydia should take the place of Allison's soul being connected to the Nemeton, and like the Nemeton acts like a hellmouth, like in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh.
So
where
that
you're going.
angel, you know how like he like Buffy sacrificed Angel, and he was like living in, like, he was suffering in the hellmouth. And it feels like kind of that same connection between Allison and the Nemeton. Like, it's still attached to Stiles and Scott, but it could also still be feeding off of Allison's soul as well. And it would be a nice kind of like closure that the fans haven't had yet of Allison, you know, having like a real goodbye, and like the cast feeling like kind of like showing that, hey, it's showing them kind of grieving the last grief.
Yeah.
Letting
Wow.
go.
That's a good idea. Now, here's another idea. What if we just took somebody that we don't really care about, that we're not going to miss? Just like grab an extra and just throw them in the Nemeton.
No.
And then we don't have to.
Why don't we just take Theo and throw him?
Okay, Eric.
Eric, in all seriousness, that is actually a really beautiful thought. You went on I hadn't even thought of that. That is a beautiful thought. So,
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
yeah.
Eric, we will let Jeff Davis know, and we'll put it up to him. But thank you so much for calling in.
Yes.
We really appreciate the support at AfterBuzz TV, and have a good night, Eric.
Yes,
You
thank you so
too.
much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Eric.
Thank you. So, I mean, yeah, obviously everyone just wants Allison back.
Oh,
so
yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
gonna let that one go. Hopefully.
We actually will bring her theme back every once in a while.
I
To when
noticed.
things
like the yearbook.
Like, remembering her.
Yep.
They showed
Yeah.
AA.
We
or,
like to kind of bring her back, and sometimes just in music.
Oh, we still use her music, do we?
Yeah, well, I'll use her theme sometimes if we want to kind of call back to Allison.
I like
so
that.
Yeah, we haven't forgotten. She's gone
She's
but not
still
forgotten.
there,
yeah.
guys.
She's still
Just
there.
listen for her theme.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen for her music. A memory is in a melody. Isn't that what they say?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay. So getting back to the show, let's talk about Hayden. It was weird to me. It was almost like she was turning into something else before she died.
She had like spots on her.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I thought she was turning into something. I didn't think she was going to die. Do you guys think that Scott made a mistake by not giving her the bite? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I just remember during that whole talk that they kept on saying, I don't want to bite her. She's too weak. She might die anyways. But it's like, take a chance. If you think she's going to die with the bite or without the bite, you might as well just bite her and see what happens. And
So
maybe
you're
save
saying
her.
he definitely should have.
I think he should have. Because doesn't she end up dying in the end anyways?
Yeah.
So I think he should have took the chance and just did it.
I think he just didn't want to have any of that guilt on him. If she was going to die
yeah.
regardless, to know that he did that, then I think Liam would have held that over him for a long time if she passed away
Yeah.
from his bite. So I'm kind of glad that he didn't do that. Also, I don't know what she has inside of her, so I wouldn't have wanted that to affect Scott at all.
I know, that's a good point.
That's a
think
really
if she
good
had
point.
anything that he could have gotten it.
And that could have
the
purposely
drug
been
doctors.
planned by Theo. You just have to be careful with anything he's involved in.
That's
so.
true.
Very true.
So you got to be careful with Theo.
Well,
See, I think you can't, like, if Scott goes, he's open, if he starts giving the bite to everybody who's hurting, he's opening a door where, you know, you can't close that door once you've opened it, you know, because then it'll be like, well, hey, what about this person?
Yeah,
Exactly.
you got to save that for a special case. Your
Yeah.
mother. That's it.
Yeah.
I would love if Melissa McCall was turned into a werewolf.
Yes.
Like, she would
She'd be
be
awesome.
amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
we already saw her in this episode save Scott, and Mason's like, he's been, no pulse for 15 minutes. She goes, he's my son. He doesn't die this way. Roar! And then he did. I was like, whoa!
Oh, mama. I love that.
That was amazing. I love Melissa McCall. Does she
do.
have her own music?
There's a couple pieces we use with her, but there isn't really a Mama McCall theme.
I'm waiting for
Mama
it.
McCall.
Yeah, we should do that. I think we probably will next season.
Good.
Yeah,
Very
I feel
deserving.
like she's definitely one of the parents who supports the supernatural and what these kids are doing no matter what.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like some of the other parents sort of stand in the way sometimes, and they don't quite get it, but Melissa McCall has always been supporting her son. Even in this episode, you know, they have that talk where he's like, I've lost everyone, and she's like, you're their leader, they'll come back, all you need to do is give them hope.
Yeah, that's a really good piece of advice. That's what I love about Teen Wolf, is they always bring back that aspect outside of the supernatural. She's just talking to her son. So I love Melissa.
Yeah, I mean, and really, I mean, what's a true alpha without his mother? It's like the power
true.
behind Scott is really in his mom.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel the same way. I just like, I get my energy from my mom, you know, like she's amazing. So
Yeah,
like,
or your parents in general.
yeah, and like when you get these scenes with like her empowering her son, it's like, I get that. It's like my mom's sort of my superpower behind me, you know what I mean? So like, I love when they bring it back to real life and they show like this support system. And I know Jeff Davis, you know, has a really close connection with his mom. And
I just saw my mom today.
oh, did you feel the power when you were around her?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. Mothers just, they have that. I think when we're around them, you know, since we're from them, we just get like energized. It makes sense to me. Anyway, let's go. We didn't get to see what happened to Stilinski when Stiles had to choose between helping Scott and his dad. Obviously, Scott would want him to help his dad. That's a no-brainer. So that was not a decision. I'm glad we didn't have to see Stiles go through, you know, trying to figure it out. But, I mean, his father was laying down and looked like he was really hurt.
Yeah, I had a list of people that I was like, okay, are they dead? When they started showing everything, I'm like, okay, Scott's not dead. Stilinski, we don't know. And then Hayden's gone. So it was just a very... I think he's still alive. He has to be. Or maybe we can use a potion on him.
On who? Oh,
On
Stilinski.
Stilinski.
See, that would be amazing because I really like that prediction because I feel like Stilinski, he's already been going through this all season where, like, he's trying to be on, you know, the pack side, but also trying to morally keep the upstanding of the town of what's right. And it's been really difficult for him this season. So, if they had to bring him back as some sort of supernatural creature, I'd be okay with that because I think they need an older generation in the pack. I think he's been struggling with his job anyway. and I love him. So like he can't leave.
But you know what? So I want to know, which one would you choose, Hayden or Stilinski?
Oh, Stilinski.
Yeah.
Hayden's new.
Yeah. So we're just going to let Liam's first love die. And
It's going to make him stronger.
it will. It might make him kill.
Scott went through it.
Yeah, there you go.
You know?
Maybe him and Liam will have this bond now.
Or maybe he
losing
will
their
try to
first
kill
love.
him again because his first love is dead. So I don't know. I hope they just bring back both. Or he's not dead.
I think what could happen is Liam might actually want to go to Theo's pack and blame Scott for this. And, like, after you try to kill your leader, you're not actually going to go want to sit in their pack. So, I mean, Liam might go over to Theo's side just because he's embarrassed about what he did.
Do you guys think Hayden's gonna come back or no?
I do think she's going to come back. And with that, with you talking about Liam going to the other pack, Hayden's technically going to be in his pack. So he might go with whoever his love interest is with.
Well, Theo could easily say to Liam, hey, I'll inject your dead girlfriend with this serum, but you got to be in my pack, and then she's going to be too, and then she's going to be resurrected.
Well, he did. We
so.
did see him inject Hayden. So
Did Hayden get it?
Yeah, he
I
did.
didn't see her. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
did.
I was looking for her to be injected. So there you go. I mean, it's
Good.
pretty much done deal. Liam's gonna go find
That's
his
the bait.
love. Because I mean, we saw Mason's telling him, "Hey, she died." So he's gonna be on a hunt to find that dead body, and when he dies, she's gonna be alive.
That's why you need Parish. That's why you need a hellhound to clean up that stuff, so people don't go around reviving dead bodies.
Well, he needs to find a new dumping ground because
I just
Theo
hope he
knows
never
this
has to
one.
get Lydia. That would be a whole other level. I wonder what would come out of him if that were to happen.
Yeah,
If Parish had to scoop up Lydia?
yeah. I
Probably
don't
couldn't
know.
even break his trance at that point. So
I'm excited to see what the Hellhound does and how he and Lydia work together. Obviously, he taught her some jujitsu moves, and she's going to be real badass in 5B.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he will probably be the one to find her because he's the only one that knows where the Nematon is, and that's where Lydia is. So, I'm assuming in 5B that Parish will come to her rescue.
I'm not saying anything.
that's just a good prediction.
If you stare into Dino, the Alpha's eyes,
You will get the answer you want.
They're spinning those answers.
Can we please talk about Malia?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, how we were just talking about how a mother really fuels us. How do you feel if your mother wants to kill you?
I mean, I know it's happened for me. So at least I'm pretty sure she wanted to kill me. And it's no, I mean not like actually.
Literally, yeah.
That's scary. I wouldn't. These poor kids, they go through a lot.
They go through so much.
We have a caller on the line. Yay! Hi, caller. What's your name and where are you from?
Hello.
Hi. What's your name and where are you from?
Hi, this is Adam from Columbus, Ohio.
Hello. Do you have a question for our
Hey.
guest?
I do. I've kind of been looking back from Stiles from season 1 and 2. I noticed like his music, he was generally like the quirky, like hilarious person. Like throughout the season, like he's evolved to like this darker character. So I was like wondering, like how did you guys come with like the whole cinematic from like him going from like this light quirky character from now he's turning darker and now we're seeing possibly he could turn into this different kind of person because he's gone through this evolution. So like his music before was like lighthearted, quirky. He had all these jokes. Now we're seeing he's more a serious, kind of darker character with less jokes. So I was kind of curious about that,
Well, thanks for the question. Once the turning point for Stiles was sort of the whole Nagitsune thing, and we had a Void Stiles theme, and basically now he's. I mean, I think it's also just the general tone of the show. Different seasons will have. Like season 4. Let me think. We'll generally, if we have a really dark season, like when we went through the whole Nagitsune thing, after that, we'll tend to, after that Jeff wanted to kind of lighten it up for Stiles a little bit and let him crack some jokes and be funny. And you saw that more at the beginning of this season where we had some more of kind of Stiles, kind of trademark humor. But I mean, I think that the show as a whole has gotten a little, has dug deeper into the psyches of each of the characters. So, but I mean, in a practical sense, in terms of the music, with Stiles, he didn't go into Void Stiles this season, so we didn't use any of his Void Stiles music. But yeah, I mean, I think it's that kind of just went along with the tone of the whole show. If that makes sense.
I feel like we definitely did hear like a lighter tone when he was like, cracking jokes, and I definitely get what you're saying, Adam, and I feel like definitely in 5B we're gonna get to explore this Void Stiles because even Theo said that's who I came for, that's who I wanted in my pack.
Right.
And he's got that bite on him, so we might be getting into some darker music, we might be pulling back from those soundtracks that you developed for the Void Stiles. I see that coming back. I mean, I definitely saw him being angrier this season, just in general, like hitting the Jeep when it didn't work, like giving up on it. I mean, we see it get towed tonight, and it's
life
like
is hitting Stiles hard right now.
Real hard.
That poor Jeep. We were just talking about it before we started.
Oh,
poor Roscoe.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate the call. Thanks for supporting AfterBuzz, and thanks for calling and talking to Dino.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night. So let's get back to Malia.
Okay.
And the Desert Wolf. We got to see Megan Tandy, who plays Brayden tonight. We love her.
She's been gone for a minute.
Yeah, and I think we talked about how she's sort of been tracking the Desert Wolf. And she now has word that, hey, the Desert Wolf, and she tells Malia, she knows you're alive, she's coming for you.
Oh, yeah.
So we were kind of speculating why she would want to kill her daughter. In my mind, it's got to be something where, like, she would lose her powers by having a child, in my opinion. I mean, why else? I can't imagine why else you would want to kill your daughter.
That's a good one. I don't know at all. Any guesses over here?
Dino, tell
why you
us.
would want to kill your daughter unless you're a psychopath.
I'm not going to speculate a whole lot on the Desert Wolf's motivations. I got to say, I'm waiting to see the scripts from 5B to really get deeper into that.
Yeah,
Good.
but
She might owe child support. I don't know.
Oh man.
That's
Gotta get that one
hilarious.
off. But I thought it was so interesting that Theo was saying the reason why she really connected with him was because he had that werewolf in him. So he's been using that all the time. Or he had that wolf in him all the time.
Because she does, since she's Coyote and he's Coyote,
Yes.
like she definitely was just naturally trusting him. We even speculated a relationship between the two of them because we felt that energy. So they did a great job in that on the show, showing us their sort of bond, that natural bond they had, because we definitely felt it, and we were speculating sort of a relationship between them because we didn't understand this, like, definitely
Connection
there was
that they
this
had,
trust connection between them. And I like, just talking about Theo for a second, how Scott said, you know, they're never going to go to you. They're not like you. You're not even human. And it is true. I mean, and that goes along with what you said, Dino, and him being so perfect. He's not human. He's this, like, experiment that they made, that was created in the lab. So, I mean, he's not this natural creature.
Yeah, we knew from jump that he was missing a little something when he watched his sister die. So you have to have some
That's
type
true.
of
He's got kind of
conscience
that
or
Damien from The Omen kind of thing.
He doesn't have much of the human side, like Scott was saying.
Well, I think we've made a lot of predictions of what 5B is going to look like throughout this episode. But, I mean, I guess let's just go around and see what you guys think is going to happen in 5B. And then we'll ask Dino a few questions about his career and what he does on Teen Wolf.
Okay.
So what do you think, Brittany? 5B, what's happening? What do you want to see?
I definitely want to see some of the old characters come back, like we were discussing, with the serum and all that. I hope that happens. And I want to see Scott's relationship keep progressing, and I want to see if he's going to end up killing somebody or not. I don't think it's going to happen, but I want to see it.
I really like that. Dino, what do you want to see in 5B?
What I
If you're writing 5B.
If I'm writing
Yes.
5B, I want to see Stiles get really dark, because Dylan O'Brien does great dark, and Tyler. I want to see Tyler and Dylan do a lot together, working
like
on that
that.
relationship.
What do you want to see, Courtney? Or what's your
so many
predictions?
predictions. Okay, I'm trying to pick one. Well, you know, obviously it's going to be the Chimeras against everyone, so I really am excited to see how that's going to play out, since they're technically both very supernatural, kind of good and bad. Let's see, I wrote something about Hayden. Oh yeah, we already said that she's resurrected. I kind of already threw in my predictions of what I think is going to happen there, but I would love to see what you said. Stiles being a little bit more dark. I'd like to see him kick Theo's ass.
I think Scott needs Stiles to be dark, you know, in 5B. He's going to be losing Liam. He needs his pack back, so we're going to have to go through early 5B of him getting Kira back, of him getting Stiles back, and Stiles is going to have to turn a little Nuggets and avoid Stiles because he needs a pack, you know? He's going to have to find Lydia and make sure she's okay. Hopefully Parish will become part of the pack, and at least we have Mason. You know,
He's kind of lighthearted. He's playing the Stiles role right now, I think.
definitely. He's like the new early Stiles who was just human, really trying to help. And I want to see a relationship between Lydia and Parish, which I think won't be too hard.
Oh,
to
no,
ask
they have
for.
so much in common.
So let's go ahead and talk to you, Dino. So earlier we got into a little question talking about, you know, you said you weren't allowed to really watch too much TV. So, I mean, what made you want to come out to this crazy land of Los Angeles and really get into being a composer?
Well, I started as a guitar player, and I used to. Before I was a composer, I played on records, and I toured, and the last couple I toured with Michael Bublé for about 3 years.
Cool.
Before, and then during that time, I worked on another MTV show with Laura Webb, and who's our music supervisor on Teen Wolf. And then when Teen Wolf came around, you know, she called me and said, "Hey, they're doing a reboot of this, you know, of Teen Wolf. Remember the old movie with Michael J. Fox?" And I was like, "That sounds really weird." And like, okay. And then I sent them some music, and we didn't talk again about that for another 5-6 months. And I thought either I didn't get it or there was, the show didn't happen or whatever. And then I ended up talking to Laura, and I talked to Jeff Davis, the show's executive producer and creator. And Jeff and I hit it off, and I ended up working on the show. So I basically got off the road and started doing Teen Wolf, 2 weeks later.
That is so
And-
cool. So cool.
Huge transition.
It was fun, but it was something I was ready. Had been working towards, so it was a really a nice sort of career segue.
What's like your favorite instrument to like put in your composing?
I'm a big fan of everything that's cello and French horn are two of my biggest ones. I really like because they can sort of do everything.
And then, fun fact, we actually talked about this before we came on the show. He used his dogs as part of...
Well, actually, it wasn't my dogs.
Okay, he used dogs in
Yeah.
order to compose things. What's the weirdest thing that you've had to use to compose a song?
Great question.
Well, I mean, the dog howl was pretty weird. We recorded a dog, Beatrice, from our obedience class, who had she has a really great howl. And so we recorded her howl and we processed it and used it for a bunch of stuff. That was in season 2. I recorded myself playing my garage door.
Playing it, like actually playing it?
Yeah, with mallets, because I have a metal garage door.
Really cool.
I'm trying to think. I have a lot of junk. So there's a scrapyard in Sun Valley that a lot of composers actually go to.
Oh,
so
wow.
a friend of mine told me about it, and then I went there and I bought a bunch of junk and went with another composer friend of mine, and we went and just sort of sampled all of it. And so there's a lot of sort of junk, and it's technically called found percussion.
You literally bring the saying, one man's junk is another man's treasure to life for me right now. I'm like, wow, you're actually in junkyards making beautiful music with this.
Well, beautiful's a strong word. But
Beautiful as in creative and original.
Yeah, it's fun. Also, it's cheap. So, you can, people have been doing this, for years. It's not like I invented
Dino's
this idea.
trademark
Yes.
secret of how he composes music.
I just find it really interesting because I'm not in that realm. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
it's fun.
I feel like a lot of people at home wouldn't even know where to start.
Exactly.
As far as composing sound, I know a lot of people, we all think we're filmmakers in some degree, and we shoot these little short films. If we had to compose the music, it would be really cool to then go to a junkyard and be like, hey, what would sound cool being added to, this. I know in school we always had to go out and record leaves crumbling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. Just
is.
what you do for the show, and it's try watching this show without sound, and then you'll know what Dino is
That's
there
what I'm
for.
saying. Wouldn't be the same.
And our sound design department also does a lot. They do a great job as well, coming up with a lot of the the monster sounds and things to really bring those characters. They spend a lot of time on the Dread Doctors.
I was going to
Getting
ask
their
you guys
sound.
create the Dread Doctor?
I didn't do that. That's Parker and the guys working with him in the sound department. They really. Hi Parker. They really do a great job, and they spend a lot of time on the Dread Doctors, getting sort of the sounds. Also on the voices, they spent a lot of time. Jeff really zeroed in on that. He wanted a certain thing, but even just the sounds of when they move, when they all the pistons and the weird things about them. And with the Dread Doctors, they're probably my favorite villain we've had.
They're really cool.
Because they just look amazing.
Yeah.
And so we wanted everything with them to sort of have this weird sort of this sort of steampunk, it works but it doesn't kind of thing. So whenever you see the Dread Doctors, you'll always hear this little bit of a tape loop that kind of goes in and out, and kind of the pitch gets weird and stuff.
I love that.
And I love looking at them. They always look great, and
They're so unpredictable because they're lacking that human element. I can't wait to get the history behind them because I'm were they ever somebody? And then they experimented on themselves. How did they get to be what they are?
Well, we got a little bit of that from Vanek, when we were in Eichenhaus, or Valek, sorry. When we were in Eichenhaus, he kind of gave the whole backstory about the Dread Doctors.
Can we go back to what are the actual sounds that make the Dread Doctors make those noises? Because I was always thinking, is this a frog? Is this I don't know. Whenever they're
the little
crazy. I
actually don't know what they use. I don't know if they created it from scratch or if they took something and then modified it. I actually was not privy, because they will work together. I'll work with the sound department on certain things, but then sometimes we'll work independently, and it only comes goes together at the final mix. So that was one of those things I heard it when it was done. I was like, hey, that's really cool. So.
Well, I can't wait to hear more from the Dread Doctors and more from you next season, Dino. I hope you'll come back.
I will.
And join us in studio again. Maybe bring us some of your instruments to play from the junkyard. That would be fun.
That would be awesome.
Don't forget, guys, you can follow Dino at DM_LA. And is there a side project that you're working on?
Right now, I'm working on chilling really hard for the next 2 weeks before I'm back to work.
I love that.
I know they just started filming 5B. Brittany, where can the fans follow you?
You guys can follow me at Brittany Baldy on all my social media. Yeah, and come to karaoke Saturdays on Sunset. It's fun. Woo!
Oh, Brittany, I love your energy. And you guys can keep in touch with me at Teznos on Twitter and Instagram. Use that hashtag ABTVTeenWolf to keep in touch with us throughout the week because we want to talk about this season finale.
Dino, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. You guys can follow me at Cinematic Escape on Twitter. Guys, thanks for always joining. It's been a great season. Tweet at us. We'll continue the conversation. Have a great night. Till next season. See you later.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.